Guys, welcome back. We are here again with Fernando Castro Alvarez.
Ciao, Silvia Mori. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, carissimo. Today we're
Ciao,
going.
ciao, carissima. Ciao, carissima.
Carissima. As a
Carissima.
female. Yeah.
Carissima.
Try to make Italian neutral. As a lady.
I'm learning Italian with you. Yes.
Yeah, we will do this in Italian soon.
Yeah, sure. I can do it.
So today, you guys are gonna hear us talking a lot about inspiration. That's a word that is gonna come out of our mouth a lot, right? Because we are pairing the club suit to the images of nature to explain the meaning of all the cards from ace to king. Okay?
Correct.
Shall we jump into it then?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And this time, I'm going to put the graphics on, and then sometimes we're going to take it off so they can see us.
However you want. You are the master of this ship. I am just a mariner in it.
Let's say good luck then. Okay. Let's see my desktop for a second. There we go, guys.
Okay, great. So just for people to know, the club suit is related, as you said, to inspiration,
Yep.
but it's mainly related to the ideas that we feel in life. And it's also related to the study we partake in life. It's basically those intangible concepts that really fill our lives with inspiration to really go after what we want.
Yeah, it's the intellectual realm, right?
Correct.
Philosophical, so the meaning of things, and when we get sparked with ideas, and there is not a physical place where that happens, but it does happen. It's very, I see this, I don't know about you, but I see this being very thin thread that occurs and we don't even see it. That's how it is in my mind.
Yeah, because ideas are not something that you can touch per se. And usually in the tarot suit, the clubs are related to sticks, to
Wands.
batons, or to what's the other word?
Wands.
A club. No, clubs, no. What's the other word?
Wands.
Wands. Thank you very much. You said it like 2 times and I didn't listen. And basically, wands, you imagine things out of wands, because when I think of wands, I think when I was a small child, I loved to play with sticks I got from trees, and I would think they were swords or whatever. And that's something you usually do with sticks. You imagine there's something, you see a piece of wood and you imagine, whoa, this could be a wall in my house. This could be a part of the deck of my house. Or you see a piece of wood and you say, wow, this could be a sculpture. And that's what you do with this type of suit, because you can't really do that a lot with money, although you could indirectly. And with cups, you can't really do that. And with swords, you can all of them, extrapolate ideas and concepts out of them. But with sticks, it's just the most far-fetched you go, because it's just a piece of stick. But out of it,
you have to figure out. Sorry, yeah, you have to figure out what it's going to become or what you're gonna do with it.
Exactly.
Okay, even if you lit a fire with it, it's still something that is gonna become something else.
Yeah, and I believe in Chinese philosophy. They thought that the fire lived inside the wood or something like that. So you see that from it you can do a lot of things, and that's the strong part of this suit. And as we're gonna see, the suit relates mainly to leaves in a tree.
Yes, that's the image that we're gonna use. Though you're gonna see a flower at first, and then we're gonna tell you why. See, if till the 4 we still get a flower, but throughout the image we get consistently from ace to 9 leaves, and that's the image.
Definitely.
That we're gonna use. So let's start with the ace right away. We don't waste time now.
Yes, what we do here is that we take the number 1 energy and we apply it to the suit of leaves or clubs, and we're going to do that all throughout this series as we've done before. And basically, what's the one? The one is beginnings, its birth, its potential. And here we have the beginning, the birth, and the potential of an idea, of an inspiration, and of a study. And this is basically the beginning of the whole cycle. It's just basically a small little leaf coming out of a beautiful flower.
Yes, and that's the two go always together. As
Definitely.
we know, in the system, the ace of clubs is always paired to the two of hearts, which is the flower itself, as we've seen. We see in the previous video. If you haven't, check it out. Is the heart suit. The two of hearts is represented by a flower impollinated by a butterfly. So it comes together with this new chance of becoming something different in developing in the future through meeting something that is reflection of what it is. So it's a coming together of these. I rambled a lead.
Definitely.
Yeah, so with the ace, there is the new chance. There is a start. As in the same way that you get a text, you know, if you scroll down your phone, then you get a text. All of a sudden, there is a text. This is an ace, something that wasn't there before. And okay, so we can see the development from now we got an idea, an inspiration. The inspiration goes through the process of going through the second stage of the two of clubs, and you know a lot about this card.
Yeah, because it's my card.
Yeah. So I'm gonna shut up and I leave it to you because you're the expert.
Well, you know, I'm not that desperate, but the idea of the two of clubs is that in the one you started and the two you basically come together with what you need to get inspired, and you achieve inspiration and you manage it through coming together with what you want. It could be a person, it could be a thing, it could be a corporation, an institution, a group of people, whatever. You just go out there and you reach for what you need to really feel, you know, inspired and full of ideas in order to begin your studies on whatever you want. And, you know, in the nature metaphor, it's basically that small leaf is growing now into a fuller leaf. You know, it's still not the full grown leaf, but it's coming together. And at the same time, we have to mention that the club suit is very related to students more than anything else. You know, hearts is related to children, I would say, diamonds to adults, and clubs to older people. And in the two of clubs, it's basically like the student card. It's like an education card. It's that student that's really eager to learn, and he goes after, you know, the academic program he wants to attend, or he goes after the professor he wants to take lessons from. And that's basically it. And, you know, you relate it mainly to the emperor, and the emperor in many ways is a figure of power, of authority. And that's what the two of clubs wants to achieve. He wants to achieve that balance in inspiration that we're going to see later on in the four. But he wants to achieve what he really has thirst for, and that's a lot of inspiration and ideas.
Yeah, that thirst comes from the inspiration of the ace. And
Correct.
then when you have this thirst, you're gonna do something to develop what's the idea about. For example, we started to study cards, and we had the ace of clubs moment. Then we got to the second phase, which is the two of clubs, where we started studying. We got together with what provided us information that we needed. So we gather information. Okay.
Then we move on to the three of clubs.
Yeah. We can maybe mention, you know what, the thing that in the two of clubs, the leaf is is connecting the sunlight from the sky to the tree, and the tree is going to use it to sustain itself.
Definitely.
In the same way that all the information that you're gathering in your studying process is going to sustain yourself in the future.
Definitely.
Okay, I promised not to say anything. See? Very good. So then we move on to the three of clubs. What happens is that when you study something, then you have the chance to internalize what you studied and make it yours. so that you don't need a point of reference outside out there to confirm that you know what you know. It's, I don't know, I while I was looking at this, I don't know if you would agree, but I felt like it is a little bit of a Jupiterian experience when you kind of feel from within the truth of what you've learned. It's not by memory anymore. It's internalized. Does that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. However, in the Three of Clubs, you basically come to the first difficult part of the order of the numbers, in which you, if in the two you came together with what you wanted to get inspired, in the third you fly apart from that, because you start to get a hindrance, and you start to develop your own independent will in terms of, okay, I learned this already. Now I have some doubts that might be different to what I was taught, and I'm growing, and I need to take a decision if I'm going this way or that way. And that's what you get in the Three of Clubs. And there, you know, the leaf is starting to develop more, but at the same time is more vulnerable to the elements. It's more vulnerable to things that might impede its development further down the road.
Okay. We have to remember also that the Three of Clubs is the card, the most powerful card for the club suit. The material
Yes.
club comes at the 3. Because yes, it is true. If you want always to be pampered by a teacher that tells you, oh, you well done, you're gonna struggle a lot. Because at the Three of Clubs, you don't get there. You're on your own. You have to make it on your own. But that's how an idea has the chance to develop. So when we get through this, we always argue about these 3, 5, and 7s. It's fantastic. I love it. Arguing, I mean, we debate. Because it depends how you go through it. You know, if you really attach to your teacher or to the source of knowledge that keeps coming, yeah, then it's going to be seriously challenging. But if you are able to make it your own, then you have a chance to become stable and secure afterwards. And then I don't spoiler what comes after, but then that's the process that any idea that you have is got to go through.
Yes. And as you said, then we move on to the Four of Clubs.
Absolutely. Which is it's always security.
Yes.
Right.
It's basically the stability, the security, and overall the merit that you've reached in terms of your studying, your inspiration, and your ideas. You know, after you overcome the number 3 of that small hindrance, then you realize, oh, this is what I had to do. This is what it means. Oh, I understand now. And then you reach a new plateau where things are more visible, things are more clear. And you can see this through the nature metaphor, where the leaf just started to really, you know, become the leaf it's gonna be. You know, it's really
adult.
Exactly.
Yeah. At the end of the day, here you start to get the rewards of having embarked in that idea, because you could have dropped it till then. You know, if you would have not go through the third stage with the 3, you wouldn't have started to get the first hints that the idea is bringing fruits to you. I don't know, for example, the first readings that we made as readers, cards readers, were kind of a 4 of clubs experience, I should have said. Because yeah, we went through this phase of not knowing if we were, you know, doing the right thing, and that's our teacher is teaching this way. How do I perceive it? How do I feel it? So you process inside, and you don't still know at the 3. So you have to go through that insecurity. And then when you start doing, you start, I don't know, meet somebody that says, oh, would you give it a try with my chart? And then you have, oh, okay, now I'm getting some fruit out of it. It's not stable. It's not like massive yet, but
yeah,
it is there. And there's some reward that some reassurance that tells you, oh, you did something that is going is coming together with you. It's happening. It's double two.
Exactly. You've reached a plateau where you've mastered the basics.
Yeah.
Where you are solid in the security of what inspires you, of the ideas that fill you with life, and in a way, you know, what you study. And then once you reach that security, you say, okay, let's start new things. And that's where you reach the number 5.
Yeah,
Where you
because
start the expansion.
yeah, because you're gonna get a client that is gonna throw out of the window all your security because he's gonna ask something that you're not so sure
Definitely.
of.
Definitely. And in the 5, you know, I usually compare this suit to leaves, but I specifically compare them to marijuana leaves, you know. And in the 5, you see that beautiful leaf trying to look for the sun. Where is the sun? I'm looking for it. And it's basically it trying to reach that source of inspiration with this, which is Surya Deva, which is the main graha, you know, the sun, the Atma, you know, the Paramatma, you know, the source, the ocean of which you are a little drop. And here, you know, you start to expand, you start to see what works, what doesn't, in terms of where can I get my main inspiration. And you're going to figure out that some things are meant to be and others are not. And you are going to fall in line with the divine order and providence. You're going to try new things, taking into consideration your example of reading cards. You're going to try things that are not going to work. You're probably going to have readings that are not going to be good. You're probably going to go to places where you're going to read and something happens with the administration. I mean, it's just a place where you kind of have to know and realize, well, these things don't work, so I have to let them go. And these things do work, so let's go down this road.
Absolutely. I have a sympathy for 5s in general. And 5 of clubs is very close to me. It's my moon card. So yeah, it's amazing. I love it because it gives you that power, if you want, if you are honest with yourself and with the truth of life, to see through things and evaluate in a very honest and humble way what you have done so far and how to move forward if it is possible to move forward. So that's always crucial for us if we want to better ourselves, if we want to not to be stuck where we are.
And that's what happens when you reach the 6, where the leaf really comes into contact fully with that energy of the sun, and you have that small victory. You have that satisfaction and that fulfillment of knowing what you need, of knowing that I have fallen in divine order, and the 5, and in the 6, I've reached this pinnacle where I understand what inspires me, where I understand the ideas that make me who I am, and at the same time, you know, motivate me to study more about cards, for example, taking once again the example you gave. And this is the aftermath of the crises of the leaf looking for the sun. Where is it? Where is it? It's not this way. It's not that way. Oh, it's this way.
Yeah, see, when we blame so much 5s or 3s or 7s, they are the doorway to the better place. So the only reason you have the light now and you benefit from that inspiration constantly is because you tried to look for it at the 5 when the leaf turns and search for the light. So better to be friends with these cards rather than
yeah, for those people who play poker, if you get 2 6s in a Texas Hold'em, play that card. Play that hand.
Okay. So you have to teach me poker now.
Yeah, I could teach you poker.
We play with the deck.
Yeah, because, you know, I used to play poker before I got into the system, because I did tarot before, and now, you know, I don't play poker that much, but I liked it a long time ago. And now I kind of see the game from another perspective, taking into consideration the use of the cards of truth. But yeah, and after you reach that pinnacle of fulfillment, you reach the 7, which is the third of the difficult cards.
Yes, difficult because it's going to show. It's going to show we believed that the maximum that we could aspire in life was that 6, which is the ego idea of the perfection of life, the easiness of life. And life itself is going to tell us, look, there's more to it. There is definitely more to it.
Yeah, and this is the transformation and the destruction of the ideas that we thought were so important to us, but that now we've reached a level where we have to let go, because we, at the same time, in the 7, the second nature cycle, which runs from the 4 to the 6, ends, and the destructive cycle, the last cycle, which is from the 7 to the 9, begins. And in this phase, that leaf, which was very beautiful, starts to dry up.
Yeah.
Summer is over, autumn is beginning, and with it the 7 comes, and you have to let go of that inspiration that once, when you were younger, at least, or in the past, or the recent past, or however you want to put it, those ideas were so important to you. Maybe a few years ago you thought that being vegetarian was the most important thing ever, right? And now you realize, it's not necessarily what you put in your body, it's what comes out of your body, specifically to your mouth, that matters most. And that's just an idea, right? And also with the cards, maybe before you were very strictly ruled by the precepts of writings and your teachers, and then you let go. And now you realize, it's not necessarily like that. It's more like you said before, it's just letting that Jupiter energy come through you and just, being part of it. And that's something that we're going to realize more in the 8 and the 9. But in the 7, it's starting to really mature, that idea of just letting go, of just, embracing whatever comes.
Absolutely. And also, if we look at the image of nature, we appreciate so much for people that live not in the tropics, but like Europe or Southern Hemisphere. Like in
Yeah,
the fall season, when the leaves get colored like red, and they're very, very, very beautiful. So this 7 tells us there is beauty.
in death.
Yes, yes, it tells us it's not all lost. It was a projection of your will or your wish that that the tree would be always leafy and full of life, but that's not what happens to an idea. An idea starts and finishes, and then you move on and you get a new idea. It's not made to be stuck there like a tree. Okay.
Definitely.
So
And
when
then in the 8th, they fall down.
yeah, they're like falling and flying in the wind, and they get blown everywhere. So they travel.
Yeah, and this is the most windy card. This is the card with most ideas. This is where you really become independent with your ideas, with your inspiration, with your study, and you accept. You become friends with yourself, and you come into this acceptance and this serenity and this overall independence that comes from accepting the inevitable, which is, things are dying, and that doesn't matter, because I am secure within what inspires me and the ideas that form who I am.
Yeah, and I know something else is going to come to me after that.
Definitely, yes.
There is no ego projection, basically.
Yes.
To keep it simple. Oh, there is with with any 8 or 9, we cannot have any ego projection. Otherwise, we go back to the 6, 7 battle. By ego projection, we mean simply that you accepted the game for what it is. You don't project your intention or your desire into how it should be.
Yes. Yes.
That's
And then you move on to the 9, which would be the superior aspect of that, because once you accept yourself, then automatically, and this is very important, because from the 8 to the 9, the change is almost automatically, I would say.
yeah.
Once you accept yourself and become friends with yourself, you start and develop a divine friendship where you create a divine acceptance of you in relation to the whole, and you become, spiritually realized, acknowledging the finality in terms of what inspires you, in terms of your ideas and study. And that's when the leaves fall back to the ground, fall back to the source, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Yeah.
And those ideas are going to nurture that ground for new trees, new fruits, new leaves, and so on and so forth. And it is here where, you know, once you reach that independence of thought, you kind of start to touch, to grasp, to understand that subtle state of perfection. Although we're never going to reach it. At least you and me, we're not experienced yogis, but you know, we start to like seeing it. You know, we start to grasp it, specifically in this suit. You know,
Yes. It's knowing life.
Yeah.
It's like the intellectual knowing of life, but it comes from not just a mind level, just an idea or a list of perception. How do you say, like the Pope?
Perception.
It's not about that. It's an internal knowing. So you go within and you know it from within, and you can explain what you know, but it is not just something that you learned. It's something that you absorbed.
Definitely.
Shall we move to the 10?
Sure. The 10, you have everything at the same time. You know, when the 10 comes up in a reading, you know, I tell people everything's happening at the same time. It's like you are in a storm, and in this case would be a storm of ideas, a storm of inspiration, storm of study. Anything comes, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, expenditure, gains, death, life. You know, here we have the escalation towards the next cycle. Unless you surpass and you get out of the samsara wheel. But in a way, it's just the escalation, and you have the patience. You have to have the patience and the endurance to go through this barrage of ideas and inspiration and study.
Excellent. Yeah, I take this liberty to call the 10s the God cards because in my perception,
that's a great name.
Yeah, and you see them. I don't know. I had this 10 of clubs people coming to me in a month. I consulted with, I don't know, 5 or 6. So I saw them, and it was very not intimidating, but there's not much you can tell them. They're already there.
Yeah, you know, the 10 of clubs is my ecliptic card. So, you know, I kind of.
So I cannot tell you much.
No.
I'm joking.
No, but what I mean is, when I've met 10 of cards people, and I see them like this character in movies where it's the character that can become any of the characters, like a changeling, like you know, like Mystique in X-Men, or Shang-Tzu in Mortal Kombat. I'm I'm making a lot of reference that maybe you don't understand.
No, but I'm like ignorant with movies. Sorry, guys, it's my downfall.
Don't worry. I'm thinking of another character, like the changelings in the Frank Herbert Dune books. It's the idea of this character that can, you know, acquire characteristics from other characters.
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
are like that. The 10s are like that. Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is the 10 of clubs is the first card in the creator spread.
Definitely.
And I don't think it's by chance. Anything, in my perception, anything starts from a very powerful will of an inspiration. It is an inspiration that has so much with it. Nothing can be born on this planet without that intention.
Definitely.
And inspiration. Okay, then we got to the 3 guys, Brahma, Vishnu, and Vishnu and Shiva.
Yeah, the creator, the maintainer, and the destructor.
Exactly. The Jack is the most creative of all, young, and wants to help anybody to grow, to get this idea and do that because that thing is so awesome for you. I don't know if you know personally any Jacks, but they're super creative. I love that.
I don't have any close friends or anyone who is a Jack now that I think of.
I have a couple. Being a queen is easy to get them around for me. Like, we attract each other.
Yeah, the Jack of Clubs is like the artist, or it's like this I want to say a poet, but the Jack of Hearts can also be that. But it's basically this person who's very inspired And then, this is my moon card. Believe it or not, this is my moon card, and it's basically the capacity to, begin things. No, this is not my moon card. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. No, this is not my moon card. Change. It's the Jack of Diamonds. This is basically,
Well,
yeah.
by the way, just a Jack of Diamonds.
Yeah. This is the card of a person who's filled with inspiration, and it's very good to start things, to start projects, but just to start them.
Yeah, just to start them. Don't let them handle stuff then on the long run.
Call Silvia or any queen of clubs to continue that.
Hopefully, yeah. Queen of Clubs then.
Yeah, and this is your card. Go ahead, lady. Go ahead.
Well, we can talk about this for hours, I think. If I go ahead.
No, we only have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir. The way I see it and experience it, but be aware, I might be changing in the future the more that I observe. And this is what you should gives you out a hint. It's observing and having the capacity of going with the intuition, but it is an intuition that is not just, shooting here and there and then aiming onto something. No, it's an ability to see the potential of something and how it can become, and finding the solution to grow it into its maximum potential. It's very sustaining. It's very responsible. If I tell you we're gonna do this and we're gonna we're gonna make videos, and then I'm gonna think about things, how to make the videos, what to talk about, how to make you feel good, how to be responsible about myself and preserve my energies, and how to make people happy. There is a lot of thinking involved, because let's remember the Queen of Clubs energizes, especially the 5, is related to the 5, energizes all the 4, 5, and 6s. And I see associated to the 5 also this thinking and overthinking, maybe also like thinking too much. But that's the connection comes from there. How do you get ideas? You get ideas when you are open to ideas enough. And if you think about something, and if you means that you are open to the ideas, that's how I see it. Tell me what you see.
I think you said it perfectly. Basically, the Queen of Clubs is the maintainer. It's the person who has the ability to nurture ideas, to nurture inspiration, and make it grow. It's basically like a muse, I would say, just like the Queen of Hearts could be. Although the Queen of Hearts has more of a motherly nature, the Queen of Clubs has that capacity to be the mother of ideas, to be the mother of inspiration, and make them grow.
Yeah,
and then you have
masculine.
And then you have the final one, which is the King of
Clubs, which I love also.
And King of Clubs, that's my sun card. That's my sun card, and
I love it.
And that's basically the professor. This is the person who knows a lot, who's willing to take the sacrifices for their ideas. This is the type of person who will probably, be able to have conversations with people who have different ideas from them, and just not necessarily feel threatened or anything, because he has the capacity to mellow down and to win, to win the battles he needs to win in order to win the war. And this is the type of person who will take the sacrifices in order to reach the correct inspiration, the correct ideas, and the correct study.
Yes. And being a Queen of Clubs, I can get involved with many things. Not all the things that are going to work out, as we have seen in the 5 stage, not everything works out. Okay? You have to let things go. When I get the King of Clubs year, which is my year card this year, I get basically the ideas that I get are selected. Only awesome ideas. Awesome meaning just ideas that can go through the whole cycle. Okay? And it's for a Queen of Clubs is fantastic, because Queen of Clubs can get lost in the process of making something happen. King of clubs don't do that. I don't know if you would agree with this. I see them like being able to select the idea that is worth keeping.
Yeah, but it depends in other things, because kings I've kind of always relate to the sun, because the sun is the king also. And although the sun has the power to take decisions, he is very ineffective in terms of what he can do, because he's like the brain, right? And the brain depends on the body, and if the body is not helping the brain, then the brain is not done. You know, the king just does this, and everybody's going, okay, let's do it. But if he's not surrounded with the correct people, then that inspiration is not gonna necessarily going to be 100% effective. But definitely, I agree with what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I probably perceive it more as platonic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
in
can
my
also say that.
Probably because I'm very open to it. Is my next door face card, so it's very, very connected to the two, Jack and Kings. So I experience them. Yeah, it's very different, the relationship between Queen of Clubs and Jack and Kings. But well, I'm bringing the experience on a Queen of Clubs. Let's put it this way.
The wife of the king.
The wife of the king, my beloved. So we've been good with time, so we don't waste too much of your time, guys. And Fernando, let's say I never introduced you. I want to introduce you. You are amazing astrologer, Vedic astrologer.
Well, I would like you, a super amazing astrologer would be better.
Super.
No, thank you.
Fantastic astrologer. Vedic astrologer, but not just. And then you read cards, and you're based in Puerto Rico.
Yes. I read cards 3 days a week in 3 different restaurants.
Wow, fantastic. 3.
Well, yeah, it's a bookstore / restaurant, a cafe / gift shop, and a restaurant.
Okay, we keep once we're gonna dedicate some time for a little interview, so people are gonna know you a little better.
Sure. We could do that. Okay.
Fantastic.
I'm a very interesting person, but don't ask. But don't ask my ex-girlfriends. But yeah, I'm a very interesting.
No, we won't. They would say that you're very humble as well.
I hope so.
Okay, then I thank you so much for being on my channel. That's always very super exciting for me. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week we're gonna finish with the diamond suit.
Diamonds. Perfect. Thank you, Fernando.
Take care. Ciao.